towards the most awaited presentation from all the Roots International students. So, Ms. Hira Touqeer, I welcome you on stage. A big round of applause for your own head. Please, come on. She is deeply passionate about building strong academic systems and shaping future-ready learners. Today, she is speaking on the topic from awareness to action, building a financially intelligent generation in digital Pakistan. So let's welcome her on stage with a big round of applause.
Get up, guys.
I think you should give a standing ovation. It's your own head. Ruth students.
Everybody come join. Money matters, everybody get in line. Money matters, everybody come join.
Thank you so very much, everybody. I would like to begin by first thanking this platform, amazingly established by Mr. Gibran. Thank you so very much for reaching out. And lately, we've been seeing that people have been educating the general public on IT and AI, and we have those buzzwords around in the world. But nobody is talking about finance. So this is a well-needed topic where conversations need to be made, because at the end of the day, all that we are doing is to maintain a good lifestyle. And it is not something which is related to past or present, but where future is equally at stake when finances are being discussed. So I'll begin by introducing myself as a general manager working in the role of general manager academics, looking after the nationwide academic systems of Roots International Schools and Colleges. And it is an institution that has been working since the past 38 years. And on yearly basis, more than 10,000 graduates, they pass out from Roots International, and we make sure that they are financially literate and financially smart enough to make intelligent decisions in their life later on. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in my next, I guess, 20 minutes, since we are already very late in time. So I'll try to make it brief. Since the topic suggests it is awareness to action, so I will not be talking about the big stuff, which is the Bitcoin, crypto, and there is a long list of it. So I'll be talking about something that is more relevant to your age, the students, which I deal with on daily basis, and some very little and smart concepts which we can apply even today after going home. So have you ever heard of, can I use this? Yeah, it's working. Okay, so have you ever heard of, I don't know where all the money went? Anybody said that ever? Okay, let me quote an example. One of my relatives, they received a bonus from the company, and there was a lot of zeros in that check. But after a couple of weeks, they came to me and they told me that I don't know where all the money went. There was some financial stability for a couple of weeks, but then later on, I cannot figure out what did I do with all that money. Does it ever happen to any of you? Yeah, so that's very normal, and that happens. And so it surprised me that this is something that happens universally. We get a lot of money, but later we realize that we were unable to make smart decisions, and we were unable to maintain a long-term financial stability, despite of the fact that we gained so much opportunities. And therefore, that made me realize that wrong decisions and not to understand money is the problem. The problem is not to increase your inflows. The problem is that we are not being wise enough to justify our financial decisions. I would like to also quote a personal example of mine where I thought I was doing well, I was earning well, I was saving well, I was even making some little based investments in my life. But then came an opportunity. I had money and I was required to invest. And I realized that I didn't know what is safe. I had no clue how to evaluate risk, where to invest, and what are the options, and what are the factors that should be taken into account while making decisions. And that was the moment when I realized that there was some mistake that I was making. I was not being financially strong, I was being financially comfortable. So there is a difference between these two things. Being financially comfortable makes you safe, but being financially strong, it makes you confident. So we should be wise enough to make ourselves financially strong. Now I would like to do an icebreaker activity with all of you. Let's imagine I am giving you 50,000 rupees. Within 30 seconds, decide in your heart what you are going to do with that amount of money. Okay, so done? Okay, so how many of you decided to spend that money? Please raise your hand. Okay, how many of you decided to save that money? Okay, quite a lot, big number. And how many of you decided to invest that money? So you're already financially intelligent. Okay, so whatever decision you made today basically decides your future. Because those who decided to spend, they chose comfort. Those who decided to save it, they prioritized their safety and security. And those who decided to invest, they evaluated risk and they preferred growth. So it is on us whether we would like to prefer comfort, security, or growth. So these are the three areas where we need to evaluate our decision making. And every single penny that you have has three options. So the salary, the entire amount that you get, there are three broad categories in which the money should be floating into. And we are a consumption-oriented society, unfortunately. We, the people of Pakistan, we spend a big proportion on consumption, which is not the right decision to do. And that puts us entirely, the entire nation, into a situation where we are not investment-oriented, but consumption-oriented. The number of zeros that are spent in the budget on consumer goods, they are not being spent equally importantly on the capital goods. So that is something which needs to be reconsidered. Have you ever came across two friends who were students of the same class, of the same university? They earned the same income, they were working at the same place, but they have a different future. Can you recall of any such example? Okay, let me make it a more easier for you. Has it ever happened that two people working in the same organization, taking the same salary, but one is financially struggling and the other one is financially stable? That happens. People in the same institutions and working in the same organizations, they are not living the same standard of living. And what is the reason? It is not the salary, and because the opportunity is same for both. It is what you take from that opportunity, how you utilize that opportunity and convert it into a benefit for a long-term strong future. So that is what matters. And for that, the students, we should not wait for the money to come. It is not about how much money is to come. It is always about what you are already doing with the little amount of money that you already have. And I have a very practical example of you at the end of my presentation. So it is about the small money where the real problem occurs. We think that it is about 200 or 300 rupees, and it is about the little snacks on which we are spending. But imagine those 200s and 300s, they are going to be 9,000 or 6,000 at the end of the month. And at the end of the year, that is going to cross 100,000 amount. And in that way, when you are going to learn what you will do with the small amounts of money today is going to determine what you are going to do with the huge amounts later on in life. So this is basically right now the amount of money that you have. It is a kind of internship that you are doing for your entire life. You are taking little risks, you are losing money and sometimes winning, and then you are learning from your mistakes. And that is also enabling you to adapt to that risk-taking feeling of having those losses and of having those victories and then experiencing and then learning from that experience. So this we already discussed, that every revenue that you have, it has 3 jobs. But there is a red flag, which is very relevant to our society. What do we do? Why do we spend? Why do I demand for some specific commodities? Is there a reason behind it? Do I really need it? Do we go shopping because we really need those products? What we are doing is that we are copying spending behaviors. My friend has this, I want to have this too. I saw my neighbor having this car, so I think I should have it too. Is there a genuine reason behind buying that car or buying that dress? So we are buying some things which are not really required, but we are just doing replication of our friends or acquaintances' buying habits. So these patterns need to be avoided. And there is a tip that I would like to share with you. We are very impulsive people in Pakistan. We make very quick buying decisions. So step back whenever there is a need, whenever you find a need to buy something, step back and wait for 24 hours. That desperation, I can guarantee you it will reduce by 50 to 60%, and you may change the decision. So when you step back and you wait for, fine, I need to buy this thing, okay, fine, I'll come and buy it tomorrow after 24 hours. I guarantee you that 50 to 60% of your decisions are going to change, and you are not going to buy that product. Because at that very moment, one, as an individual, the way we are manufactured, we are very impulsive in nature and we make impulsive decisions. So we need to avoid that. Again, something very important, money is a tool. It is not a source of entertainment. So somebody or anybody, the ones who are earning incomes or the ones who are relying on the pocket money, if you think that your money is a source of entertainment for you, then that means you are wasting your money. It is a tool in present to secure your future. So you need to think about that it is not something which is to be spent in the present, but something that is going to make you stronger in your future. Let's explore what actually money is. Have you seen the fuel prices going up these days? What is the fuel price right now? Anybody can quote it to me? Yeah? Yes, around 376 per liter. I checked it today. So, the fuel price is 367. Okay, now I have a question for you. What do you think if this was a question, okay, let me tell you the truth. This was a question of when I was in grade 9th and it was my first day of my O-levels, my economics teacher asked me that question. She said that if there is a helicopter throwing money into the entire city, do you think poverty is going to reduce? No? That is a very intelligent answer. I wasn't expecting it. But since you are a Rootsian, so okay, tell me that why poverty is not going to diminish. Why? Yes. So whenever we have a lot of money, it actually increases the demand. Like we just mentioned the example of fuel. So if the fuel is getting expensive, and if we give a lot of money to people, that fine, the fuel is getting expensive, we compensate you by giving more money in return. So do you think that money in return is going to increase the quantity of fuel that is present in the country? The fuel is still going to be imported, it is going to be limited, and the resource is going to be scarce. So the scarcity is not going to reduce. Only there is going to be more money chasing less amount of goods. And that is further going to ruin the inflation rate of your country. That means we need to be very thoughtful that whether increase in the amount of the currency notes that we have, whether that is going to satisfy our interest, or is that further going to ruin the conditions of the economy. Okay, so again, my question to the audience is that do you think there has been some change in the cash, in what we, in the mode in which we used to do transactions? Are we doing the transactions in the same way like we were doing a few years back? No? So what has changed? Yes. So there is no more physical money into the market right now. So we have changed from cash to, initially we changed to ATM cards and credit cards. So initially the change was from cash to cards. And then later on we evolved towards internet banking. So now instead of carrying the cards also, you have your mobile phone, and you don't need actually bank, and you don't need to carry cash. The banking system is no longer a place. It is not a physical place. It is an experience now. It is a virtual experience. So you just carry your phone and you are able to make all the transactions. And is there anybody who is even a chai wala or even somebody who is selling you corns who does not accept Easy Paisa, Jazz Cash or Rast? So that means every single person in the country right now is using digital modes of transactions. So that doesn't only evolve us technologically, that if we say that fine, that we are becoming digital economy with the passage of time, but also that we have brought almost 100% of the population under the umbrella of financial transactions, which has helped us to reduce the black market, which has enabled us to strengthen our tax brackets, and which has enabled us to bring more transparency when accountability from the government is concerned. So when I talk about digital finance, how it has diminished or mitigated the problem of black market, I hope all of you know what black market is, specifically the students out there. Yes, great. So the government has done so many measures to reduce the black market. I mean, the money on which tax is not being paid. So now I would like to again make a question. Do you think all of those measures, controlling the regulations, controlling the authorities giving out foreign currencies, has it actually reduced the black market? No. Yes. So it has not reduced the black market. Why? Let me give you an example. If you see so many, that there is a traffic congestion and there are so many cars on the road, and suddenly you see that some cars are now moving out of the road and road is being cleared. And because you have stopped the way of that cars, that they are, for instance, they are not allowed to move on that specific route. So what are the cars going to do? If they are not allowed to take that expressway, they are going to take some other ways. They are going to step out of that formal way and they are going to take those underground ways. So all the measures that have been taken by the government, they eliminate the black market on the surface. However, all of those transactions are being done through WhatsApp groups, through cash transactions, through private word of mouth, and everything still exists, but behind the floor or behind the curtain. So that means that that is our self-responsibility. It should not be just the government's responsibility to counter these problems unless and until we change the behavior of the individuals and we take that self-responsibility. The government alone will never be able to counter these problems. Some of the government initiatives that I would like to mention here since 2024 till 2026 are Uran Pakistan. This is a 5-year plan, a transformative plan to increase the exports of Pakistan and to reduce the fiscal deficit and to increase the investment. These are the 3 aims, and it has actually worked well for our inflation rates and for our exports, especially has a positive impact on our remittances as well. Then there is the government scheme of housing finance. The main purpose of it is to bring financial inclusion and to convert the renters to become owners. That is the main purpose of this, and it has been supported by the State Bank of Pakistan. Then IMF reform program. Right now, the amount of this program is $7 billion. And the nation Pakistan is right now not firefighting the problems, but it has been very vigilantly being monitored by IMF through these reforms, and they also intend to reduce the rate of inflation that is persisting in our country. So talking of tax reforms, the government is pushing the businesses to get themselves registered. Obviously, it is going to increase the tax bracket, reduce the cash economy, increase tax filers, and you've seen so much is being done to bring more people into that tax bracket. Digital receipts, since you are all very young, I would like to request you and advise you at the same time that whenever you are making a transaction, demand a receipt so that you make sure, and there are systems in which you can make sure that the restaurant is actually paying your sales tax to the government authorities or not. So behave like a responsible citizen when you go out and you are making those purchases. Then there are penalties for cash transactions, non-registered businesses. I would like to quote a real example that I faced a few months back. I went to a jeweler and I was buying some jewelry. So I saw somebody sitting next to me. They were not aware about the tax systems and how the financial transactions work, but they had the money and they were buying some bangles. So the jeweler, he asked me to make a cash transaction because he was quoting me a different price if I made a cash transaction and a much higher price if I paid via bank transaction. So what is the reason between the two? Why I had to pay a higher price if I had to make a bank transaction? Yes, because he was demanding tax on that transaction. If I paid via cash, then he was exempting me from that tax transaction and he was motivating me to exempt him from that tax transaction as well. But what happened next to me was even worse. He quoted to that couple the same price even for the cash transaction. That means that he charged that tax to that couple even on a transaction which is not going to be shown in his financial accounts. So we need to be very careful about that. Then the financial system is going through a major shift. We've already discussed. The system of Pakistan is becoming tight and it is becoming more tighter when it comes to tax reforms. And all we need to do is that in order to survive in this vigilant economy, we need to be financially smart and our decisions should be wise enough because the economy is not changing, it has already changed. And it's now our responsibility to decide that whether we are going to cope up with these changes or are we going to lead these changes. So it is no longer an option, it is a financial priority and in fact a national emergency right now in Pakistan, since we see that the government is also now thinking upon regulating the crypto regulations. They are still not legal, but not they are going to be regulated by the government soon, and we really hope that maybe in some time in the future we may be able to legally invest in crypto as well. So the question here is that, are you ready for this system? So we need to reconsider, are we ready to cope up with this system, or are we just going to buy things which are being bought by our friends or by our neighbors, and we are going to just ruin this money where the entire responsibility and the entire wisdom should be invested in. So in Roots International, we are giving this early exposure to financial literacy. We have separate departments working for delivering this financial literacy to our junior tier students in the form of entrepreneurship and design and thinking. And for the senior tier students, we prepare them to make financially smart and independent decisions under the umbrella of Billionaire Bootcamp. This is an exclusive initiative by Roots International, how we make sure that the students who are even studying at our campuses at HSSC levels and the levels of A levels, they have already started to earn by acquiring the degree of City and Guilds. That is a 3-month course, and it enables our students to start earning in dollars and pounds even while they are going through their studies of A levels and HSSC. So not just that when they pass out from their school, but we make sure that they are not only earning but ensuring their financial independence. So that is how we at Roots International make sure by having these events, which are MEWs. These are the events where our students, they are presenting business ideas to the investors. That is their whole week, which is called Metropolitan Entrepreneur Week, where they are presenting ideas and they are gaining investments. Then there are ACCA FinTech Awards. We also offer ACCA to and there's a huge batch of students passing out through ACCA from our Aptabad, Muzaffarabad campuses down towards Karachi. And these students are learning how financial ecosystem of Pakistan is changing. Even on our MUNs and Rymans, our students, they are going out in the market, they are meeting different entrepreneurs and businesses, they are getting sponsorships, they are talking to them, the platforms and all of that learning. It enables our students to see what is going on out of their textbooks and classes. I would like to thank you all here, but since I talked so much about what Roots International is teaching to the young minds about how finances are working, so I would like to call a few students here on the stage so that they can also talk about finance. Firstly, Mohammed Mohib. He is somebody who has already invested his money from all the small pocket monies and stuff that he has. And he is somebody who is all day busy in searching what is crypto, bitcoins, and I actually call him evil genius. So over to you, Mohammed. If you would like to use that, you can.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about the two biggest fears about investments, that how people fear that their money will be finished and their money's value is decreasing if we think. Most of us believe that saving money is the ultimate safety net. But the reality is that, for example, imagine if a person is earning 100,000 and he is saving 20,000 rupees while spending 80,000. All of a sudden, a day comes where petrol prices start to hike, taxes increase, and inflation rises. Slowly but surely, the value of his 20,000 rupees will decrease to zero. Now, what's the solution to this? Because he is working harder, but his money is worth less. The solution isn't just to save, but to invest. For example, if we think of 2025, if a person had invested in gold on the 3rd November of 2025, now he had made a profit of approximately 71,000 PKR. By now, I have personally also invested in gold once and have earned a profit of 40%, which is a lot in case of investments. This proves a vital point. To truly beat inflation, we must put our money to work, as we can't just sit there and watch our hard-earned money become to zero. This brings us to another problem, the fear of the unknown. Most people avoid the stock market because they think it is a black hole. It is a gamble which will make them lose their money. But the thing is that it is not. We should just determine our surroundings and think that what is happening in our surrounding. We should think that this car is in demand nowadays. Which company is owning this car? And if we invest in this car company, can we earn a lot of profit? For example, if we take an example, most of you will be knowing about a company, Fauji Fertilizer Company, which has a 48.6% stakeholder of another company, AGL. It had not taken over AGL since a lot of years. It had just, I think, about 1 year it is taking over AGL. Before 1 year, AGL's shares were about 20 rupees, and now it is about 50 rupees, which means that if a person had invested in AGL and bought 5,000 shares of AGL, then it will be obvious that his profit will be a lot, more than 100%, about 120% profitability. If we take another example, there is another group called Gandhara Automobiles, which introduced the company Jack. And when Jack T9 was launched in Pakistan, it was much hyped. And we didn't thought that which company is holding this car, which group is behind this company. It rised up to 115%, meaning if a person had invested in it, he could not just beat inflation, he could make a massive profit. I would like to thank you all and just say that you have to just determine your surroundings to make a big profit and beat inflation. Thank you all.
To take a few more moments of yours, if anybody else would like to say something from Roots? Nobody? Yeah, you may come up. Okay, then let's wrap this up.
Money matters, everybody come join. Guys, my people to
Thank you so much, ma'am. Quite insightful and interesting experiences you shared actually. अभी आपको giveaway के लिए I would like to request Mr. Alisha on stage, please.
CEO of
Takhliq
Builders and
Builders.
founder of Alisha Reinvent. We would also like to invite Mr. Asad Ali on stage for this token of appreciation, Director of Money Matters.
shine. Don't you deserve to join?